If you like my dad's videos, please subscribe to QA Insights channel.
Today we are going to kick off a new series called APM and Observability series. In this episode 1, you will learn about how you can get started with Signos. You may ask what is the difference between APM and observability. APM solution will help us to monitor all the aspects of your infrastructure, application, microservices, etc. But observability will help you to deep dive into more technical aspects of your application. For example, you can deep dive into each request or some database, etc. so that you can drill down what is the cause of your issue. So this is the main difference between the APM and observability. Signos is one of the open source observability platform which will help you to deep dive into your application. It has a native support for OpenTelemetry and it has written in Golang and React TypeScript. So this is very high level overview about Signos. Eventually we are going to see a quick demo how you can leverage Signos to maintain your O11T. To get started with Signos, we are going to make use of the GitHub repository. You can use Docker or Helm. First, you have to clone the Signos repository and go inside the deploy, and then you can run your install.sh. And also it comes with some sample application, which we are going to see it in a moment. It also comes with performance testing capability by leveraging Locust. So if you run this kubectl command, it will create a pod where you can attack the instances. And then if you want to stop the attack, then you can run the stop command. So these two commands also we are going to use so that we can see what's going on when the performance testing is running. We can use Signos to observe what's going on in our infrastructure. Now let us start with a quick demo. First, go to this GitHub repository, and here you can learn more about Signos and other features. And if you just scroll down, you can see the getting started section. So here, as I mentioned earlier, you have to clone this and go inside the deploy folder and run your install.shell. It will take care of everything. The prerequisite is you should have the Docker and the relevant space and kubectl. So these are the prerequisites to begin with Signos. And if you want to deploy the sample application, you can use this particular command. And to generate the load, again, we have the commands. Now let me go to my terminal. So this is my Ubuntu server, which is running in the cloud. And here, if you see my Docker containers, there are around 6 to 8 containers I'm running. So mostly it is for Signos. So Signos comes with a front end and some query service here, as you see, and a ClickHouse and a sample Flask app, which I deployed separately. So there are around 6 to 8 containers you will get once you deploy your Signos in your infrastructure. So no need to spend money on the third-party SaaS service. So what you can do is you can just make use of this open source alternative, and then you can do whatever you want. So your data, your business. And you have to just maintain the containers and make sure it is scalable. So those things you have to take care. But in terms of running your business, I don't see any blocks with respect to security or some audit and all. So those are the things or advantages from the Signos perspective. So now let us start with the UI. So how do you launch the UI? So here, if you see the front end, so Signos as a front end, and it is exposed at the port 3000. So I'm going to launch my browser again. Since it is my personal server, I'm not going to expose my IP address. So instead, I'm going to hide it. So now let me go to the Signos UI. So this is the homepage of Signos. In the left side, you can see there is a toggle button where you can just toggle the dark and light mode. And here you will see metrics, traces, service map, usage explorer, settings. And if you go to settings, you can see retention period is 3 days. And if you just mail the support team, they will tell you how to change the retention period. And in the top right, you will have the time filter. And here you can select the filter based on your requirements. And let us go to the home page here. So whenever you go to home page, mainly the application page, it will automatically displays whatever applications you have instrumented. And it will display the 99 percentile latency in milliseconds, error rate, and requests per second. So right now we are not getting much request because Locust script which I am not running as of now. And here, if you want to see, for example, I want to deep dive into my front-end application, what you can do is just click on the front end. So this will displays the metrics in a interactive charts. And here you can see the filters like 99 latency, 95th latency, and 50th percentile. And you can just toggle on and off. And here in the right side, you will see the request per second. And at the bottom, you will see the error percentage. And in a tabular view, you will get the top endpoints. Again, you will get the number of calls percentile in millisecond. Similarly, if you go to the external calls here, again, you can see the external call duration, percentage, RPS, etc. And database calls, again, you can see the relevant database calls. So here the time filter is last 5 minutes. So let me change it to last 1 hour so that we can see some more data here. Now let us go to the traces. So traces is the one of the key area you have to focus because it will help you to trace your requests. So tracing, again, Signos follows the OpenTelemetry standard. So whatever language is supported by OpenTelemetry, you can make use of it in Signos. So here at the bottom, you will see the tabular view, start time, duration, operation, which service call it is making, and the trace ID. So each service call will have the trace ID. So if you just click on this trace ID, you will get the flame graph. Flame graph will be very helpful to deep dive into the particular request. And then you can focus on the top calls. So which call you need to focus to fix your issues. So here, if you see that first call is front-end HTTP GET/dispatch. And if you just select that particular block, it will display the relevant calls of the particular request. Again, for example, here, let us click on this customer because it is displaying a different color, alert might be. And just to click on, you can see the relevant particular database calls. In this case, it is displaying which database call you have to focus. So if you just click on it, it will display the tags and the error details. So luckily we don't have any errors here. It is displaying the which SQL query the particular request has sent to the backend. And if you just click on reset zoom, you can go back to the normal flame graph. So there's an excellent video by Brendan Gregg who created the flame graph visualization. If you search in YouTube, you will get his video. It will be very helpful for your analysis purpose. And if you click on service map, you will get the map view of your requests. So here you can see how the request is flowing through each component. So that view you will get it. And the size of the circles is proportional to the number of HTTP requests. So for each node. So here you can see the node here. And if you just click on it, you will see the latency, request, etc. So it's very interactive graph. And then you can also zoom in and zoom out. And also here you can select the application which you want to focus. So if you just select it, you can see what's going on in the particular application. And let us go to the Usage Explorer. So Usage Explorer will display the count basically. So what count at particular slice in terms of time. And here you will see the numbers. And you can also filter by last 30 days, hours, and the services. And settings, again, right now it is still evolving. So right now we have only the retention period settings. Okay, now let us focus on the traces. That is the important area where we will always work on when it comes to observability. So here we can filter the traces with respect to the application, the component, and also use, for example, let us select the customer, and again it will display the which request we are going to focus. And whether you want to have some slice filter between the latency, you can set it here. And here, one of the important UI aspect is, so whenever you move your mouse over on the particular data point, you will get the relevant details. So that is one thing. And also if you go to the metrics, and if you go to the front end, so here let us focus on say 99 percentile. And assume that, so this particular data points, it is greater than 1.5 seconds. If you see 1400 milliseconds, so we are going to focus on the top 3. So what you can do, just hover your mouse over and click on it, you will get this view trace option. So just click on the view trace, it will automatically take you to the particular filter of the particular request. So no need to search or no need to filter by your own. So that is one of the key feature in Signos. And if you want to still drill down, you can just click on the trace ID. Again, it will take you to the right place. Okay, now let us go back to the traces again. And similarly here also you can do, just click. You will see the details. So that view traces will have only from metrics. Go to metrics and click on the data point and click on view traces. So it will take you to the traces. But inside the traces, you don't get this option because inside traces, you already got the details. So here it will display only the label of your particular latency information. And this visualization, again, you can customize based on the duration, error, status code, or count or rate, a line chart, bar chart. So typical visualization, you can do it in Signos. Now it's time to do some performance testing and see what's going on. So for that, I'm going to leverage the Locust. So if you go to Signos GitHub repository, and if you go to sample apps / hot rod folder, and if you click on hot rod / load, and here if you go to the scripts -config map, so this is the Locust file which will be running whenever you start the Kubernetes pod. So if you are getting started with Locust, I have already posted a playlist. It is free to watch, so please go to the Locust series and then you can learn more about Locust. So this particular Locust file will always send the requests to the customers, Rachel, Tom, Japanese, and Coffee. And this is the call it will make. So dispatch customer 123, 392, 731, and 567. Okay, now let me launch the sample app which you are going to test. So which is running again in my server. So this is the hot rod rides on demand. And if you click on a particular customer, it will automatically send a request. And then here you can see the request ID and the latency. And if you click on find trace, it will automatically take you to the trace information. And similarly, if you just keep clicking on the random customers, it will automatically get recorded and then you can see it in your dashboard. So we are not going to do something manual. We are going to leverage the Locust. So what I can do is, let me go to the GitHub repository here. And if you just scroll down to the end, you can see this particular command. So I'm going to copy this and let me go to the terminal. Let me clear my screen and hit the pod. So this will inject a hatch rate of 2 and it will just make use of this swarming mode, and it will just start attacking the hosts. So now we should see some traffic. So here, if you just hit refresh, we can see some requests should be coming up right now. Okay, now let me refresh again. Okay, let me go to the front end. Okay, now let us see here. So we are getting two calls. One is the config call and dispatch. Now let us go to the Locust file and just see whether we are getting the actual request or not. Okay, here if you see dispatch, and we have the config because we have used the UI, that's why we are getting that calls. But usually we should get the all dispatch calls for these customers 123, 392, 731, and 567. Now let us go back to the application and let us hit a refresh and filter by last 5 minutes here. Okay, here you can see it is changing. If I click on refresh, there is a change in the graphs and the tabular view. Now let us go to the dispatch call and let us refresh here again, last 5 minutes. Okay, now let me go to this particular trace ID. Okay, now if you select this particular flame block, here you can see customer 731. Now let us go to the Locust script and here you can see customer 731. So this is the customer we are hitting from the Locust script. Okay, now let us go back to the terminal and let us stop this particular swarming. So we have to send a stop command here. Okay, I think it's not allowed. So we have to go to the GitHub repository and let us copy and paste the exact command. Okay, now it is successfully done. So this is how you make use of the built-in Locust script to run your test, and then you can observe your performance and other aspects in the Signos UI. Here I have deployed the Python application based on Flask and MongoDB. Let us see how Signos traces the request, and we can see how we can deep dive into the request information. So here, if you launch the sample application, and I'm going to add some task, say test, and I'm going to click on create. So now we have added the task. Now if you go to the Signos and hit refresh, okay, now you can see the Python application. So this is the Python application. We just sent some request and it automatically captured from the Signos perspective. So this instrumentation you have to do it, otherwise Signos will not be able to capture the request. So the detailed instruction is available in the GitHub page. I will post all the links in the description. You can check it out. And if you go to this Python app, again you can see the request. So this is the request we have just sent, the home page, action and list, and you can see the latency. And let me just toggle off these two. And if you just click on this and click on view traces, it will automatically take you to the tracing information. So here you can see where most time being spent on which call. So here it is, click on this list call. So every trace, right, it will have the unique ID. You can see the graph component ID. This is how you trace your request. And here if you click on the list, and here it is displaying all the details. And if you click on the HTTP GET, again it is making a call to some monkey.io. This is how you will be able to drill down to your request and see what's going on in each hop. So this tracing will be very helpful in case if you want to understand your application and its behavior under the load or in production. You can use the Signos like tools to deep dive into it, and then you can easily fix the issues. So this observability tool mostly will be used by SREs and a development team, a DevOps team, and also performance engineers. There is no harm in learning the APM and observability tools. So we have to evolve ourselves and we have to start learning. Apart from the performance testing tools, we should be learning the APM, observability, and Kubernetes Docker technologies. Eventually, I will post more into observability APM tools in this series. So please stay tuned and thanks for watching. Have a good day.
If you like my dad's videos, please subscribe to QA Insights channel.